All right, everyone. So it's Lauren with Let Me Organize It here with my friend Eve, who's a teacher. We are back with the Ask the Pros series, and we're talking to you about holiday gifts. So just the reason why I look so big up in this corner and Eve looks so small back there is because we are socially distancing by 6 feet, but we wanted to make sure that you could see both of us, and hopefully you can hear both of us as well. So, as 2020 has been, we had all intentions of doing this live, and unfortunately we're having some technical difficulties with the Wi-Fi and getting loaded. So that sounded bad, but getting the videos loaded. We might be getting loaded on some wine later. But anyway, we're coming to you because we have so much great information that we want to share with you, and we've been putting a lot of thought and prep into this. So we are going to make this happen. If you watch this and then have questions that we couldn't answer live, please post them in the comments or feel free to reach out to me, and I will get answers for both Eve and myself. And we will also be able to then to post the links of some of the things we're talking about. So with all of that out of the way, we are focusing today on gifts for kids. Now, of course, we're doing this because the holidays are coming up. And this is not just for Christmas, this is for any of your winter holidays that you celebrate, but we're also hoping that these will be great gift ideas for the future, for graduation, for birthdays, for whatever. So Eve has broken these down into very organized categories, which of course I love, because we talked about this last time. Teachers are very organized and organizers love to teach, so we make a great pair.
Love in common.
First things first, I think what we're going to cover, you and I are both really big fans of giving books.
Yes.
So let's talk about books first.
Definitely. So that's one of the 3 categories, and I have tons of things to share. And the first that I was mentioning to Lauren is we first need to address the fact that 2020 has been a very hard year, especially for kids. They're hitting it really hard, and they've been going through a ton emotionally, and we need to be sensitive to that. So touching on that area, I have several books I'd like to point out. Get that started. This one I use at home with my own 8 and 11-year-old. Siblings, you're stuck with each other, so let's stick together. You could do that if your children are butting heads right now. There's some great suggestions.
I love that. I wish I'd had that when I was younger. My siblings and I probably could have used that.
Yeah, my brother and I too. This one's a great one. It's a box set. So Lauren, if you show it, just make sure it doesn't. So this one has 8 books on confidence, anger, love, sadness, anxiety, all those in here. They're really good. They understand the kids, so that one.
I also love, I'm obviously a fan of rainbows anyway. I think it's 80s Rainbow Bright. This is way before I got into organizing and way before the new organizer show. But I think that this is so great because I don't remember kind of touching on feelings a lot with books. And I think that, all of us are having issues with kind of mental health and understanding feelings, and so having a way to read about it and then talk about it with your kids is super important. I love this idea. And then you have another one?
I have a few. Yeah, the rug has really been pulled out from them, and so we got to be supportive of that. This one I like because going along with the sibling thing, this one's called Martha Doesn't Say Sorry, and kids should know that no matter, oh, there you go. It's really cute. The title's in the inside.
Sorry, I was going to say, so this actually points out a really good lesson because a lot of times, I don't know why, this just is what the publishing world does, but the kids hate the dust jackets, the covers, and take them all off. I'm often asked, what do I do with them then? Because a lot of people want to keep them. But anyway, so that illustrates that point that happens all the time. Sorry.
Yeah, so Martha Doesn't Say Sorry is just remembering to apologize, and it's never too late for that. This one's great also, Breathe Like a Bear, Calming Down. There's some meditation ones in here.
I wish too that, they had taught this when we were younger as well, because I'm seeing a lot of these kids now, a lot of my friends have kids, and I'm watching them talking about taking deep breaths in and taking deep breaths out and calming down. And I can't wait to see what the world turns into in 20 years with all of these kids who know about self-regulation and meditation and feelings, and oh my God, we're in for a great world, I hope.
And another one that I just love, it got me all misty-eyed when I was reading this. This is called The Magic Inside You. And it's just building confident children, especially with, like I said, with things shaky right now. So that's another suggestion. And I think that is go through, I have all kinds of other books, Lauren, but just go through like the feelings ones.
Emotions, yeah, absolutely. I think that that's brilliant, and it's such a great way to kind of start the conversation with your kids about how they're feeling and talk about that with them. Awesome. So what if your kids are not super into reading? Is there still a way to get kids excited about reading that don't necessarily like to read the chapter books or?
Yeah, for sure. I'd say we talked about this before, but letting them try new things and kind of, testing it out and really giving it a chance. Magazines are a great gift for any time of the year. When my kids get magazines, they're like, "Thank you, Grandma." And so there's tons of them. Sports Illustrated Kids, it comes once a month. They'll love that. Girls World, I've checked it. It is appropriate for preteens. Animal Tales, Tales, very cute. And these have been around forever, right? The highlights.
I loved those.
Yes.
I had highlights subscription completely. And it's so funny how nostalgic we get because my friend's daughter has them. And I was like more excited to do the highlights than she was.
Exactly.
So, yeah, no, those are great ideas. Love magazines.
Nonfiction readers for my students, so my 7 and 8-year-olds in this classroom, they're usually, but the National Geographic Kids series are really good, so they're leveled. One obviously being the less complicated, and then going all the way up to 4. So they really get, if you think they don't like nonfiction, give these a try. And the Who Was or What Was series is good. And then Lauren, you have one that's
Yes. And I have to say, I can't tell you how many times I have been organizing in a client's home and run across those National Geographics. And what's nice is, you start off with those when they're younger, and then you grow into kind of the National Geographic for the adults. It's a great company, a great subscription. There's a lot to learn from those. But yes, Eve, I'm so glad you brought this up because one of my favorite books as a kid was the series Choose Your Own Adventure. And it's going to be hard to see because of the white and the light, but there's so many of these, and I think they're coming out with newer versions, which is really great. But what's cool is you get to literally choose how the story goes. So even this says choose from 19 possible endings. So you don't just read the story once. And just like adults, kids love being in control. So you get to be in control of the story and how it goes. And I just love that there's now 19 different ways at least to read the story and have different endings. So that's also a really fun way to get your kids involved and interested in reading. If they still aren't super into reading, figure out a way to bring in other interests. So if they're super into, jungle animals, why not read about those specifically? Not just looking at movies. If they're into sports, have them read the stats from the newspaper or player bios or get a book on their favorite team. And then also graphic novels was another one we talked about where, when you're a kid, you're really focusing on these picture books, and now we move into mostly just words, and so sometimes it's really fun to kind of have these graphic novels, and we were both saying like how fun it was when we were younger to have Calvin and Hobbes and Garfield, and they were fun things to read. You were still reading, so the whole point is just to get them interested in reading and get them active in it. And what that leads us to our next category, because one of the other ways that we get kids interested in reading is to create a cool space for them. So Eve, why don't you kind of introduce us a little bit to that?
I'd be happy to, but can I introduce one more thing?
Oh my gosh, of course.
So just thought I'd throw this in there. One author that students, children, love over and over again is a man named Adam Rubin, Rubin. Okay. He wrote Those Darn Squirrels.
Okay.
We read it over and over and over. It's absolutely hilarious, and there's sequels to this.
Okay.
You cannot not laugh. It's so funny. And Dragons Love Tacos.
Oh my gosh, I've heard of this Dragons Love Tacos.
Yes. So if your child has not read that, for sure they're gonna love those. I can pretty much guarantee. And there's sequels to that. But yes, let's get to the...
Well, I think while you're getting that stuff,
okay.
I also just heard on the radio recently, they were talking about at what age you stop reading to your kids. And I said out loud, never. Yeah. Because then they can read to you, right? So keep this as a part of something that you do. Even let's say you're an adult that you don't really like reading. Disguise that. Have your kids still read to you. I know a lot of kids who go through the Harry Potter series with their parents start off reading them to them, and then as the kid ages, they're now reading to the parents. But then let's create like a fun area for them to read in.
Right.
So.
And so partner reading too.
Yes.
Parents read a page, child reads a page. So creating that environment where they're going to be drawn to. So book nooks. I've seen bookshelves. You could get these on Amazon, which also have like comfy seating, beanbag chairs. This one, I have a catalog, is from Pottery Barn Teen. Lauren, if you want to kind of pass that
This
up.
looks super cozy and fun.
Yeah,
She's like in this little
sit in
pod.
there.
Yeah.
If kids can build a fort, I've seen ones where like there could be a little princess area, and then they put their beanbag chair in there, get all snuggly. There's personalized beanbags. My son has a BB-8 beanbag chair, just whatever they're drawn to. Some of their holiday gifts, and I said to Lauren, I hope they're not watching. So my son's really into, you better not be watching. Surprise! Anyway, he's really into Star Wars, so here's some bookends to just have fun with his setting up his book collection.
Yeah, that's super cute, and I love that idea of like accessories for the books and fun ways to display the books, because that gets them excited as well about reading and maintaining their library.
Definitely. And then these are some great stocking stuffers. And don't forget, Hanukkah is starting the 10th. So if you want to start shopping, get going soon because things could be back ordered. But these are great bookmarks and timers in one. So this one has Star Wars. I wonder for who. And then, but they're also plain ones. And these actually, I might use one of these.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have to just be kids. So.
Absolutely. So, I mean, Eve brings up a really good point. Of course, as an organizer, I've already done the majority of my Christmas shopping. It's already wrapped and ready to go. I have a problem. Don't expect this from all of you, so, or any of you really. But just also note that things are more difficult this year, and that, you know, shipping might be delayed. So yes, if you see anything you like, try to start getting these things ordered. There will be Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Small Business Saturday deals, so that you can take advantage of that coming up this weekend. And that's one of the reasons too that we wanted to get this video into you as soon as possible. Yeah, I think it's such an awesome idea, especially if you've got more than one kid, but the idea of building a fort that maybe can fit just the kids or can fit mom and dad, and then everybody going in and either reading together or reading silently. I remember when I was a kid and my mom would, you know, read her book to herself. I was like, how do you do that? And she was like, well, I'm just reading it in my mind. And I just remember thinking that was so cool, and just being around people reading all the time. So make it a fun activity for them. Yeah, what else? Oh, so in addition to, thank you for reminding me, in addition to the cool bookends that Eve got, let's talk about little kids. Now, one of the ways to organize for them is in rainbow order, because they know their colors. If you want them to be putting their own books away, if you put it away in rainbow color, great. If not, little kids do not read the spines of books. They look at books head on. So this is a great way to kind of flip through and they can see the cover. There are also, and you know, you can label your bin here, and that's a removable label. You can also buy those bookshelves that you see like in the pediatrician's office that shows the cover out front. Now, oh my gosh, Lauren, I can't put all my kids' books in that bookshelf. No, you can't. You have to really curate it. Think like a teacher. Do it for the holiday or the season or whatever that month is teaching. Honestly, kids don't need that many choices. Yes, they need choices, and it's always good for them to work on those skills of using, you know, being able to choose, but don't give them 25 choices when 10 will do. So just think about it that way. What else? Oh, speaking of your Star Wars bookends, I actually, so a friend of mine is really into stormtroopers, and I found the cutest like stormtroopers that are pushing the books, and I'm like totally thinking about getting that for her. Hope she's not watching, but she probably is. So maybe I'll have to wait and send that to you when you're least expecting it. But yeah, like find a fun way to make your library, your bookshelf unique, and that will help kids as well.
And we did talk about the magazines, right?
We talked about the magazines.
And that could be a gift any time of the year, but.
And yeah, for any reason, and especially for multiple kids having multiple different types of magazines, every kid's going to have kind of a different interest. Awesome. Okay, so let's talk about learning fun. So we both believe that if you're kind of having fun and laughing, you do better with learning. And also, we have tended to notice when kids are given these fad toys at Christmas that they don't really enjoy them for much more than an hour, or even their birthdays, Hanukkah, whatever the holiday is. They kind of play with it for that day, and then they kind of lose all interest. So what we've noticed as both, a teaching professional and an organizer is that kids love toys that allow them to use their imagination and ignite their imagination. And to there are definitely toys, and we're going to cover them, that are secret educational toys. So your kids don't have to know that they're learning while they're playing with them, but they're going to have fun with them. And I think that that's great because there's learning in everything. So Eve, I think you've got one that your kids currently really enjoy doing these days. And it also helps with English and, writing things down. Mad Libs.
Oh, of course.
So, and this is the thing too, like, I remember these as a kid as well. And we just giggle our faces off because you use the potty humor and the silly words and all of that. But so.
Yeah, I've got some of those.
Mad Libs.
Yeah, definitely. Here's a Hanukkah one, and this one, my 11-year-old daughter she did pre-COVID, but you could do it anytime, over Zoom even, right? With your siblings. Sleepover party. So they have them for
every occasion now.
They have them for holidays. They just have them for anything.
And I agree. I've seen so many of these when I'm helping organizing kids' rooms, and it's really funny. Usually when we come across it while we're organizing, they want to sit down and do them immediately. So this is such a great way to get them reading, to get them thinking, because you have to pick a plural noun, a noun, an adjective. So these are obviously for a little bit older kids, but then you're helping them kind of learn English and use those so that they know what they're doing, and it makes it super fun.
Right.
Mad Libs they're even fun for adults. Look, we can be silly and naughty and whatnot and have fun with the Mad Libs as well. I'm sure there are Mad Libs for adults as well.
I have a ton of ideas besides that.
Yeah.
Unless you want to
keep
with
going.
Mad Libs.
Yeah.
LakeshoreLearning.com. Awesome. They're nationwide, but of course you can order online. And what's great about their website is there'll be sections where you could click on for this age, 6 months old to 14 years old, and then it'll kind of zoom you into what toys are appropriate, and then without them knowing they're having fun and learning at the same time. Melissa and Doug, if you haven't heard of that brand.
Well, before you get to them, I just want to say thank you so much for turning me on to Lakeshore Learning. I love it. And then Eve just shared with me today that they have an outlet store and regular store in San Leandro, which happens to be near a Nordstrom rack. But so it's great. And I can't wait to actually, when I feel safe about traveling and going to stores again, being able to go and check that out, because I have already purchased a couple items as gifts, and I am almost more excited about playing with them than maybe the kids will be. Okay, so Melissa and Doug, this is another great brand. So what are you showing us with Melissa and Doug?
They have great puzzles, and look them up, and you'll find endless things. Here's the shoelacing. I don't let my second graders go on to third grade until, they can go, but I'll kind of come on, hurry up. They need to know how to tie their shoes by third grade. I just feel like that's a must. And so Melissa and Doug are awesome. That's a great brand. Collage, Collage, has great playing cards and puzzles that you can, personalize with your family's photo. Those are great learning fun. We talked about the Mad Libs, board games. There's all kinds that they're adding, subtracting, and they're having fun with it too.
Agree. I think right now, I've been certainly doing more puzzles this year than I ever have in the past.
Yeah.
With your kids, if your kids aren't super into puzzles initially, it's probably because we all expect them to just know how to do it. You're going to have to teach your kids how to puzzle. You're going to have to show them maybe how they have to flip the pieces over and how they have to look for the edges and how they have to fill it in and what to look for. So kind of narrate and go through it with them and try to do it as a family so it's more fun. And then, board games. We're all home these days, and why not just add a little bit of fun into it? With Monopoly, you're talking about money and adding, you're having to count your spaces. And also, I think we were talking too, isn't there a company where you can make your own board games?
Yes. So it's called, I'm glad you brought that up. That is called Bare Books, B-A-R-E, and then books.com. And I use them because my students, when they're writing, I give them actually one and they put their final copy or final draft in there. But they make board games where you design your own. How creative is that? And I think puzzles as well. So they get to design their own, and that's just having a lot of fun and being creative and good thinking there. So yeah, that's Bare Books.
Great.
Another thing we were talking about is hand-eye coordination.
Oh, yeah.
So these have been around forever, but these are really fun. The weaving looms. Mm-hmm. And you could buy those, and then with the extra loom there. So
Totally gave these away as gifts during the holidays to like grandparents and aunts and uncles.
Definitely. Lots
Big
of
time popular thing.
So those are great gifts. And coloring, they have some really good ones like, oh, I already did that one. With these, here, Lauren, you could show.
Yeah.
Or you could find it, my daughter likes dogs, so
like
we
intricate.
got a dog one. And then tons of colored pencils, great gifts also. And one that I do not want to forget is I've seen on Amazon, there are great kids baking kits.
Yes.
If my daughter, I keep coming back to this, my daughter can be on anything, she'd be on Kids Baking Championship. And so these baking sets, and when the time comes, maybe you could put the link to the one I'm thinking about, measuring. They don't even realize there's math. So, and they're, flour is flying and everything like that, but that's okay. They're having fun and they're learning through that. So.
Yeah, I love that idea. I remember one Christmas I was given a cookbook for Christmas, and I just was so excited to bake all the time.
And then you're reading right there, so there you go.
Reading, you're measuring, you're right. It's all inclusive in there. And if you've got younger kids who have a play kitchen, get them some of the fun wooden toys. I think Melissa and Doug does that too.
Yes.
I've seen them on Target. There's a really cute shop on Etsy where this woman makes these felt dumplings that look like real wontons, and they come in like the packaging, and I just love that that's super unique and fun, and it's it's tactile, and it's a great, you're supporting a small business, and that's something too that's going to last. That's not something that's plasticky that's going to fade or break or whatever. You can keep that for a long time. Also, for younger kids, if you get them, studies show, if you get them involved in cooking in the kitchen and get them interested in food, that they'll be more interested in trying different things. So I even just came across some handy tools that are made for kids. They have like a hole in the knife so they can put their finger in, which protects their finger from getting chopped off. So there's different tools and whatnot that you can use from any age to get kids involved in cooking and baking. And again, it's so smart. Like, you are, like, even if you're cutting the pie, you're cutting it in half and then in
fractions.
Yeah, exactly, fractions. And why don't you work with them to say, okay, like maybe the older kids, but like, all right, we're gonna have this recipe. So what does that mean? If you're taking, from 2 cups now down to 1 cup, or bigger or more intense fractions than that. So yeah, absolutely. What else are we gonna talk about with learning fun?
A couple more things. Watches.
Oh, yeah.
And so you can, Lauren will show this. This is no longer being used, but it was when it was very loved. This has soccer decorations on there, and do you want to point it out?
So it's going to be hard to see because they've got that light on there, but you can kind of see that the different, and it's not going to focus. The different hands are actually different colors, but they're also labeled hour and minute, and then it's got a soccer ball as the second. And so it's just really a fun, unique way to personalize it. So that's another thing that we were talking about, Eve, is that the kids really love personalized stuff. Like, it makes them feel like it's really theirs, and they don't have to share it with a sibling or a friend. So anything that you can personalize.
And I got this.
Oh my gosh, talk about that, because that's
okay. This is
so
an
funny.
oldie but a goodie. So I saw this in Burlingame. The good news is it's called Five Little Monkeys, and it's a kid's toy store, but I heard they're like everywhere. So I saw this, and immediately I was like, oh, am I going to get it for my own kids? Speak and Spell is out. It was like $30-something. Truthfully, sorry, I'm keeping it for myself. in the late 80s, I was all over this, and I just got so excited, I like squealed. So, I'm like, vintage. So, you could show that.
Absolutely. I mean, as soon as she told me about this, I was like, oh my God, I've got to go get one as well. So like, obviously the 80s are having this comeback moment too.
Yeah.
So like, there's Light Brights, there's My Little Ponies are coming back. I even saw, I think, ads galore on social media. Schlemmiker, I can't even say their name. It has vintage Cabbage Patch dolls, guys.
Oh.
The Cabbage Patch dolls are back. Anyway, so it's super fun to see all of this stuff. So something else that we had on the list, can you talk a little bit about the Melissa and Doug time puzzle? Because I'm super interested in hearing about this one.
Yeah, that's for younger kids. It's looks like a clock, wooden, and it has, for those little guys with the adorable chubby fingers, it has the handles on them. So it'll have like it'll say where the 1 is, it'll say behind it 5, and behind the 2 it'll say 10, but they can pick it up, and then underneath it'll have the same thing, but it's just remembering where to put it back. So
cool.
That particular one I know is for the much younger age.
And the telling time.
Yeah, and it has, like I said, those handles, so their little fingers can get a grasp.
Well, and if you guys watched our last Ask the Pro series, we touched on timers and how important timers were, and telling time and all of that. So clearly we have a thing with time. One more quick thing I want to mention before we move on to rooms and organization is I've been seeing recently an ad for another game called We See. So it's spelled O-U-I, like the French word oui, which means yes, and then S-I for the Spanish word yes. So it means yes, yes, but it's pronounced we see. And it's kind of like we see, which is exactly their point. And it's all these different photos, and you guys, your kids, and you can play it with any age group, but you are making the decision on it's kind of like dominoes, I think, with pictures. And so you get to decide, well, which other picture looks like the one that somebody else just put down and why. And so it looks really clever, and so I'm hoping to do this one with my niece who's turning 10. I think I'm going to get it for her birthday because I've got her covered for Christmas. I hope she's not watching. She's getting a puzzle and a book because I refuse to give in to those LOL dolls and China fads from China and plastic toys. She plays with them for a few minutes and then they junk up the landfill. So I'm all about puzzles, books, fun stuff, quality time with family. Okay. Can you believe we've already been talking for almost a half an hour? It feels like 5 minutes.
I know.
Okay.
We got so much to say, Lauren.
So much to say. We'll have to do another. Okay, so then we've got rooms and organization. So of course, we have to both keep our spaces organized so that we can find what we need when we need it. But let's help your kids do that too. So Eve, what kind of fun tools do you have to share with us?
Yeah, for sure. Keeping your kids' rooms organized, they'll love it. You'll love it. It's a win-win, right? Everybody's happy. So making it their own is really great. Erin Condren is one of my favorite websites for organizational. They have great teacher stuff, personalized. So this is something I use with my kids. It's their name and then a checklist, and then daily to-dos, and then it says week of. Now, one thing on Erin Condren is you could have it made with the daily to-dos already written there. I chose not to because like AYSO soccer is not happening this week, or violin is over, gymnastics is only for 6 weeks, and then I got a full pad. But you can if you have a set schedule, and then it's a check off, because if they see it, they remember, and you're not like nagging at them.
Right.
So that's a fun thing if you want to kind of show that.
Absolutely.
And that again is on Erin Condren. And what else? Personalized notebooks. And those are on Collage too. Love those. So with their.
And remember, Collage is the one that we said that you can get like the personalized playing cards and puzzles. Like those are also, we're talking about kids, but like how cool are those gifts for grandparents? Like doing a family portrait on a puzzle to send to the grandparents to put together.
They don't just have holiday cards and photo books. They have tons of stuff. Knock Knock is one of my other favorites. And some of these are not always appropriate for kids, so just be mindful when you order. But this one is my awesome week, and so like another checklist.
And it's even got this kind of like thing for a pen right here, but you can kind of hold it. So yeah, they get to kind of write down and make it their own and kind of be responsible and accountable for what they're doing.
Today's plan of attack, most critical, would be nice and not a chance.
And yeah, I've seen a bunch of these for adults as well. There's like a travel packing list, and there's the what to buy from the grocery store list. So the knock knock pads are really fun. I think they have some folders too that are like, this is crap, total crap, utter crap, or something like that. And it's just fun for your,
Here's another one, Lauren.
Great. So there's like the little ones that say like, this one says deal with this. So yeah, cute,
check
fun
them
stuff.
out. They're really, really good. I don't have the space in my house, but one thing I know my kids would love, and a lot of kids would love, is like, I'm going to use the example Pottery Barn.
Mm-hmm.
Pottery Barn teens, they have these great desk lofts. Now, this might be, a birthday and holiday gift and something, because these are quite expensive, but sometimes, Lauren, you've said like you've seen them, people are getting rid of them or whatever, but they're a bed, like a loft with a desk underneath it, plus a bookshelf and a bulletin board. So it's like all in one. I've seen them on, they're expensive, but on Pottery Barn Teen, so alongside that, having bulletin boards in their room. You could get whiteboards, and kids can have fun with the dry erase markers and magnetic things, so you could keep, it's over in the corner of my desk right now, I'm looking over there, but they hold on to the whiteboard where you could keep your pens and stuff in there.
Right.
So those are just some gifts that I thought of that would be good for organization.
It's funny that you mentioned those lofted beds, because I think it's my sophomore year of college. I decided to live in a single, and it was the size of a shoebox. Like, people's bathrooms are bigger than this dorm room that I lived in, and so we had to have a lofted bed where, I slept in the lofted bed, and then I had my desk and my dresser underneath it because there was no room anywhere else. And I kind of loved it, actually. So, kids really do. My niece has the same thing, and you can have like queen size bed ones all the way down to, twin ones. And then sometimes they have a bed at the top and then a bed at the bottom as well. Even still sometimes with a desk. But yeah, once they have that desk area in there, like that can also be, you can, close a curtain or something so that they feel like they're in their little nook when they're doing their work. And I think it's a great way to help kids get organized, and to use the space. You do have to have higher ceilings.
Yeah.
So that's one
That
of
would be a rude awakening.
the drawbacks with that. But kids do, they love it. I don't, especially if they're okay with kind of bunk beds and sleeping at the top of a bunk bed.
But there's a good railing, so they're safe.
Okay, excellent. And then we're checking our list because we don't want to miss anything. Yep, you talked about the bulletin boards. Dry erase boards, yep, the markers and everything. Yeah, kids love that. I mean, I think it's better these days than chalkboards, which the chalk just gets everywhere and whatnot. So I think whiteboards are amazing.
Having good cloth bins to keep things in. Again, label it.
Yeah, and label it too with, if you've got younger kids, label it with words and pictures. Let either do stickers or Eve was mentioning there's all these places now that you can print this stuff on the internet and laminate it and whatnot. So she's got some of those that she's going to show. But yeah, just keep things organized. Help your kids kind of get set up for success with all of their stuff, their educational things.
Here's some samples. If you have the words plus the picture, that'll just really be helpful.
Paintbrushes
It'll
with
get
the
back
paintbrushes.
into that right spot, which is what organizing is all about.
Dice.
I laminated those.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the other thing too. Sometimes you can laminate them and then use the dry erase markers if you need to change what's written or what's in the bin sometimes. When you're working with really young kids, or have little kids in your home, again, call on the things that they know. They know colors. So maybe all of the trucks go in the blue bin and all of the balls go in the red bin, and help them with keeping their stuff organized. And then, just like we've made learning fun, let's make organizing fun. So, I know your kids do this too, but like put on a playlist or something, some fun music when you're organizing. Make it a game. Everybody gets involved, and just make it a regular part of their routine. It's important that kids know that things don't have to look perfect all of the time, but in order to not trip over things in the dark or injure yourself, you need to clear a path. You need to have things put back, especially too, take those moments of meltdowns when your kid can't find something to say. This is why it's so important that we put, Teddy back in the green bin with all the other teddy bears so that we know where he is next time, so that they can learn that. These are skills that they're going to build on their whole lives and that they're going to use as adults, that they're learning as young kids. So hopefully we've given you some awesome ideas, not only maybe for your kids, but also for some of the other people in your life. And again, not only for the holidays that are coming up, but for any time of year. So if you have any questions, you can feel free to comment below, or if you'd like, you can contact me, Lauren, at letmeorganize with a Z, it.com. So Lauren at letmeorganizeit.com, and Eve and I will be happy to answer any questions you have. Also, we have a lot of fun doing these, and so I'm sure this will not be the last one that we do. If you have any suggestions on what you guys want to hear about, and asking the pros, the professional organizer and the teacher, we'd be happy to share more information with you. So with that in mind, we will link a bunch of the stuff that we talked to. If you're interested in receiving a PDF with links and all the information that we shared today, you can email me again, and I'll put the email address and link below. But anyway, we hope you guys had a great time. Thank you for being with us, and have a great holiday season.
Be
Thank
safe.
you. Bye.
Bye.